welcome back to my channel. So, welcome to day 2 of whatever we're calling this thing. In yesterday's video for Vlogmas, I asked you guys to come up with a name, like an alternative for Vlogmas, since I don't want to call it Vlogmas. Basically, right now we're tied between, what was it, Graymas and Grayson's Christmas projects. So, one of those. Welcome to day 2 of one of those titles. Today's video, I am going to be, this isn't Christmas, it's not a Christmas related video, but I'm going to be talking about why I choose to not accept criticism of my art. I know, I'm sorry, I've been like a little bit clickbaity recently, and like I guess it's not technically clickbait, but this is just in reference to my art, like literal art, not art as in video making, but fine art. Why I don't accept criticism of that. And before I get started, I want to say a few weeks ago, I had a conversation with someone about this in the comments section of my short, where I posted a painting progress video, whatever. And we didn't get into an argument, but we had a conversation, and I don't know if that person is watching this. I just want that person to know this isn't like in response to you. I had been planning on making this video before we had that conversation. I have no hard feelings against you. So yeah, basically, I wanted to have this conversation. Also, I'm going to be doing this similar thing that I did to a video recently where I have art playing in the background while I talk. Basically, I wanted to have this conversation because I am going to be posting more art-related content, and I know that, you know, putting art onto the internet, I'm obviously going to get responses, and they're not always going to be positive, and that's fine. And I also know that just saying I don't accept criticism is not a statement that people usually take kindly to. And so I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to explain why I don't accept criticism, because it's not a thing of like arrogance. Like, it sounds arrogant whenever someone says that you don't accept criticism or you just choose not to, you refuse to, whatever. It's not really like that. Like, I don't not accept criticism because I think that I don't look at it and go, fuck you, I know what I'm doing, I don't need your criticism, I'm better than you. Like, it's nothing like that at all. Sometimes the criticisms of my art are probably right and probably helpful, but I don't make art for criticism, if that makes sense, which I guess it doesn't. So let me just get into the story. Let me just start this time lapse. I'm going to be watching the painting process, so if I like pause in the middle of the story to comment on it, then I will. Sorry. Basically, I have done art my entire life. Like, since I could pick up a pencil and know how to use it, I've been drawing. I would always doodle. I would always like get in trouble in class for doodling. All 3 years of middle school, I took art classes. All 4 years of high school, I took art classes. I've, traveled for art shows, art competitions, different, what's the word? The thing where it's like, college fair, I guess. Like, I've traveled for art college fairs, and I've shown, different colleges my work and all that stuff. And I initially went to college for art. I was a visual art studies major, which is basically just an art major that also gets your teaching certificate. I did that, and it wasn't really until I got there that I started to really, really hate art. And for reference, in high school, I took art classes, but more specifically, I took AP art classes on top of just like regular drawing or regular sculpture classes. So I have been very familiar with critique of art for a very long time. Like, it's not like it's something that I can't accept because I don't know how. I know how. I'm just at a point in my art career where I choose not to accept it. And that really started to form for me in college. I don't really know how to explain it. I think it was just, I just started to be really unhappy. I just didn't like what I was drawing. I didn't like how certain things were taught. I didn't like the atmosphere. And I don't know if that's part of being like an art major in general or if it was just my program at my college. I partially think it was that because I would butt heads with professors. And it's like, for what? I was never that person to do that. And I got to college and I just hated it. I don't even know how to describe it. I would skip art classes. I skipped art classes because I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I really hated it. I hated how it wasn't even dependent on, your skill or the meaning of a piece or any of that. A lot of it was the teacher's preference of your art, And that was really, really frustrating. And it was also just doing stuff I didn't like to do, which I know sounds a little bit bratty because we always have to do stuff we don't want to do. But there was never a time in those art classes, or in one in particular, where we did something that I liked, I guess. I will say it's always good to do things you don't like. It's always good to get out of your comfort zone, but it was just a part of the begrudgingness of I don't want to do this and I'm not good at this, and so this teacher is not going to like this because the teacher also has favorites. It was just a lot of stuff that made me not want to do art, and so I stopped. I didn't do art for a long time. So at that point, it was my first semester of college, and I knew, I was like, I can't do this. This isn't for me. I don't belong here. And so I stopped taking art classes while I looked for a different major. And with that, I just started to not do art. I started to associate it with these bad times in these classes. And it was more of a burden than something that used to be very therapeutic. So I stopped drawing for a very long time. Until recently. I don't even remember what it was that got me back into it. I remember watching something. It was either a show or a movie, and I have been thinking all morning, because I knew I was going to film this video today. I was thinking all morning of what the fuck did I watch? I don't know. I have no idea what I watched that made me want to get back into art. But I watched something that was so inspiring, which I guess is also weird. How inspiring can it be if I don't remember it? But whatever. I watched something that really inspired me to start painting again. And so I did. One morning, I went out onto my patio and I had my watercolors and I just stared at the roof of one of the apartment buildings next to me and I just painted it. And it was so fucking awesome. Is it proportionate? No. Is it photorealistic? No. But I just really, really enjoyed the ease of doing it, the relaxation of doing it, if that makes sense. There was no pressure for it to fit someone's standard. And I just kind of started to realize that that's what I needed. I needed to start making art for myself again instead of other people, Side note, while we're having this conversation, I'm looking at this here. I know that the way I did this hair is bad. I don't like it at all. It does get a tiny bit better, but I don't know what it was. I struggled a lot with drawing this hair, which, hey, that's a critique that I'm fine with myself and other people saying. I don't really like it, but it's, I guess, good to know. I should work on more elaborate hairstyles. Anyway, so I'm basically at the point in my art life, in my art career, whatever, where I'm just trying really hard to enjoy myself, because for so many years, I put myself through competitions and comparisons and just breaking me down. Dude, if you're taking art in high school and you're at the point where you're going to those art college fairs, you know that some of those people are fucking ruthless. I cried at one. I straight up cried at one once. And so it was just a lot of external factors that were making art not enjoyable. I wasn't making it for myself. I was making it for the approval of people who didn't even like it in the first place. They don't like my style. They don't like my technique. And I hated it. So I don't do that anymore. And I really, really am happy with art. I find it so relaxing now, even if, this girl's not proportionate or photorealistic, or, it's just not even my best piece, but who cares? I am not trying to one up myself or one up anyone else anymore. I'm just doing it because I like art again, and I'm really happy that I like art again. So it's not that I don't accept criticism because I think I don't need it. I could always accept criticism, or I could always get criticism. Like there's almost always room for improvement, but I don't draw or I don't do art to improve. I just do it because it makes me happy, So I have just kind of made the executive decision to ignore comments that are offering suggestions on how to improve. And I guess that does sound counterproductive saying it out loud, but I just don't really care, and you don't have to agree with this because I know it's kind of a very like hard-headed way to go into it. And just side note, this is also not to say that you can't comment criticisms. Of course you can. It's just that I probably won't listen to them. I probably won't take them into consideration in my next piece, because why would I? Why would I keep in mind a stranger's opinion on my art if it's not for them? I'm not selling this. If I was, I would take the criticism. There are times where criticism is acceptable. If I was working with a client and I wanted, to show them a status update, see how they felt, see if they wanted any changes, or if I'm talking to someone who also does art or someone that I value their opinion and I ask for criticism, then fucking fill a bucket with criticism and like throw it at me really hard, like where water gets up your nose. Do that, because I'm not like, it's not because I can't accept the criticism. And when I ask for it, truly give it to me. I'm just not asking for it, because that's just not fun. Make art fun again, like I guess that's the moral of the story. Also, side note, look at me struggle to draw this crystal. It was an attempt. Honestly, it didn't turn out that bad when I finished it. I just it was kind of lazy, which is fine. This is just me redrawing something that I drew in 2016. And that little picture back there, I used to draw in that art style all the time. And it wasn't even my art style. I stole that art style from somebody that I followed on Instagram. If you remember Blue Hair Don't Care, aka Zoe Arabella, she's like kind of an OG Instagram, I guess, e-girl. I don't know. She was like an e-girl before e-girls were a thing. But yeah, she drew like that all the time. And so I drew like that. And glad I don't. I'm glad that I don't steal other people's style or do things for other people's approval. I'm very happy doing what I'm doing. And that's why I do it at this point. So I don't know if that made sense to anyone. Someone actually left a critique of this piece on my Instagram when I posted it, giving me recommendations for adding light to the face. And I agree with that, I know after this video, I'm still going to get criticism. And some of it I'll agree with, some of it I don't. I did agree with that one. I just didn't have a reference picture for this other than the OG picture. I hardly ever use reference photos, which again I know is counterproductive, but I don't care. I just sound like a bad artist, and maybe I am. But I feel like just doing art to enjoy it is what matters, not how good you are at it. That was this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's kind of random. I just wanted to have a conversation about it since I'm going to be posting more art in the future. And I'm also going to be selling art in the future. I need to set up my website. I want to do stickers, prints, maybe commissions. Don't count on that. That will be further down the line. And if I do commissions, I will take criticism on that from the client. Okay? So that was day 2 of Graymas / Grayson's Christmas projects. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you tomorrow for another edition of Grayson's Christmas projects. If you like this video, like the video. If you like the video, comment on the video. And if you like the video, subscribe to the video maker. And I'll see you later. Okay, bye.